on my Instagram at Morgan P Talks, I open up the floodgates. What do you want to know more about? Was there any other option besides the Good Morning America scandal? No. So this week's deep dive comes to us from Cass.
Hey Morgan, this is Cass from Queens, New York. My deep dive request is about this Good Morning America scandal. The tea is piping and I need all the details. Love listening to the pod. Thanks in advance and love you like a sis. Bye.
All right, let's start with the basics. GMA3 co-hosts Amy Robach, TJ Holmes, both married, were photographed holding hands, cozying up. 65 photos of the two of them published in the Daily Mail. This started just a frenzy. You know, there's these two. It's fair. Good Morning America. Fair. It's the morning show all over again. And then the very next day, they show up to their show as a couple, hand in hand. Oh, it's been a great week. La-di-da. And then on Monday, not on the air anymore. They were pulled because according to ABC, I can't remember a specific title. I didn't write it down. Her name is Kim Godwin. It was an internal and external distraction. She said, this doesn't really violate our company standards, but it's an internal and external distraction. I want the whispering in the hallway to stop. I want people to focus on their jobs for the time being. They're going to be pulled off the air. I want to go through the timeline of both Amy and TJ and their road at Good Morning America. So Amy got hired by ABC News as a correspondent in 2012. 2 years later, in 2014, TJ Holmes was hired to do freelancing for ABC News before being hired as an anchor and reporter. In December of that year, he became friends with Amy. As she later told People magazine, they began going on double dates together with their then spouses, attorney Marley Feibig and Melrose Place star Andrew Shue, while Robach's children watched Holmes' children. So that's awkward. In 2016, TJ Holmes had an affair with a producer, per Page Six. The producer worked with Amy Robach at the time. Entertainment Tonight later reported, and one source told Page Six that Amy Robach was TJ Holmes' confidant in the affair. Another source says that's not true. And then in 2019, TJ Holmes ends his affair with the producer after his wife finds emails from her. This affair is actually what might get TJ in trouble, not the one with Amy, but we'll get to that later. So March 1st of 2020, TJ Holmes celebrates his 10th wedding anniversary with his wife. In a since unearthed Facebook post, he says, despite my best efforts, she remained married to me for the past 10 years, he writes. That's not hyperbole. I'm not being dramatic. I gave her plenty of reasons, excuses, and opportunities to walk her fine ass out the door with a million O's. I mean, obviously, knowing what we know now, that there was a 3-year affair with a producer, I'm pretty sure we can connect the dots, put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's probably at least one of the reasons why he would give her an excuse to walk out the door, but they stayed together. So in March of 2020, GMA3, it was Michael Strahan, Sarah, and Kiki. They moved away from that show and then moved into a more news-oriented. It's called Pandemic, What You Need to Know. We all remember March 17, 2020. Okay. So Amy was anchor, and then Dr. Jennifer Ashton, ABC's chief medical correspondent, also played a major role on the show. But the two of them started working together in September of 2020. TJ Holmes joined the rebranded permanent GMA3 What You Need to Know as Amy Robach's co-anchor. So they've been together at the desk since September 18th of 2020. You know, they have their friendship, whatever. Then in March 2022, they start training for the New York City Half Marathon together. The 20th, they run it together with Amy's husband, Andrew Shue. And then in May of 2022, that's when the pictures allegedly were taken. The two were spotted canoodling. At the end of May, early June, they go to London for the Queen's Jubilee. A source later told Daily Mail that the staff were buzzing about the two's intimacy on the trip between the two. And then even Amy called the trip one of the best assignments ever on Instagram, saying couldn't have asked for a better partner through it all. August, boom, separate from their spouses. Although August 19th of this year, TJ was celebrating his 45th birthday with his wife, Marley Feibig, and their children per Marley's Instagram. the mess is unmatched. September, Amy and Andrew list their apartment. November, Amy is seen without her wedding ring. November 6th, they run the marathon together in New York City, and then the pictures came out, and now we're here. Wowzas. There are also a lot of reports about TJ Holmes' personality, saying that he has a big ego, that he yells at staff, potentially a third affair as well. Is he a serial cheater? I don't know. Amy's husband, Andrew Shue, best known for his role as Billy Campbell on Melrose Place. They even wrote a book together last year called Better Together. It's like this sweet little kid's book about finding common ground and accepting and appreciating others' differences. TJ's wife, like I said, is a high-powered Atlanta attorney. She specializes in immigration law. So maybe she'll hear this podcast and she'll be like, wow, Morgan did a really good job. I should help get her fiance into the country. Maybe not. The interesting thing about this scandal is that there are two very different reactions to it. Some people are delighted. They're like, oh, they were separated from their spouses. They fell in love on the news anchor desk. Like a Disney fairy tale movie. And then there's other people who obviously are not. They're like, cheating, workplace romances, not a good look. There's a lot of comparisons to the morning show, the actual show, the morning show. And there's this clip recirculating right now of Reese Witherspoon sitting with Amy Robach and Michael Strahan. And they're talking about how, oh yeah, the water cooler conversations we've had. We could give you a few storylines. I think we actually did give you a few storylines. It's like, wow, this stuff is really what was going on behind the scenes at GMA. I think work affairs happen, right? Like, that's not anything new. So why is this one so captivating? I think it's because Good Morning America in general, the brand is family friendly, wholesome, just not people that you would expect to have TJ Holmes' 3 affairs. Just doesn't fit the brand, which actually is what these people are more in trouble for than cheating on their spouses. Although, they're coming out and saying, no, we didn't. We fell in love in 2 months after we were already divorcing or separating or whatever. I feel bad for the kids, obviously, their parents and whole families in the middle of this media frenzy, and they both have kids. My predictions for these two: Amy will be back. I don't think she'll skip a beat. She'll sit back down at the table and she'll be like, welcome in. Don't I look glowing? Had a little week vacation, feeling good, feeling rested, feeling jovial. Like, that's what she's going to do. I'm more concerned about TJ. I'm not so sure. He's getting a lot of bad press. His reputation, the affair with the producer, an alleged affair with another person, yelling at staff, having a big ego. It's like, what does he bring to the table that will make people forget about all this stuff? Like Amy, you can chalk it up. I feel like you can chalk it up. She fell in love. She was getting separated from her husband. But TJ, potentially being a serial cheater, I don't think fits the mold, and time will tell.